Hey, I'm sorry for the wait time. I was actually got contract, so and the seller got a little bit too much talking at the end. So I just, I got a contract, so I got to give the person enough time to express
Not
or,
not a problem. You're you're,
yeah.
you're making money. That's why, right?
Hey, thank
Hey,
God, because at the end of the
that's good.
day, without God, we're nothing. But here we are hustling every day, like doing
Exactly.
as much as we can, humanly possible.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Before I start saying my story and everything, without God, we're nothing. And I like to spread that and say that as much as possible because sometimes we feel everything is impossible, and then you connect with God, you align your life, things just start to break through, and then you start to see door openings that you never in your life you thought that was gonna happen. Tell me, my first ever deal solid was a $2 million deal. Someone
Mm,
that comes from nothing and knows nothing, knew nothing back then, and I just aligned and collaborated with the right people. But that only comes from God. When you align your life, you trust Him, He will come and He will do something about you. But I don't mean to be super religious, but this is just me. If you ever gonna work with me or get to know me, you will hear a lot the word God, 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 because I know where I'm coming from, and I know that without Him, I'm like, nothing is possible. That's where I'm at,
that's right.
and I try to always put Him first because sometimes we forget where we come from, and don't allow myself to go through that route. Yeah, $1,000 is enough for a PPC. What happens is people is having this misconception that you have to go broke to actually do something good. Uh, because let me tell you a little bit about my background. Uh, Before I joined the RJ Bates mentorship, I invested in my education. I joined the Rhino Tribe by Brent Daniels. Man, I admire Brent Daniels so much. But then when I joined the mentorship with RJ Bates, I love it. It was just mind blowing. I felt I connected with the guy. I felt I was him. I felt every part of his story because they come from nothing. So hearing a guy that comes from a pizzeria saying you can do this, it was just like a slap on my face. You can do this. And but the issue that I had when I began, I own a call center. I come from marketing background, so I had experience with the PPC work, and I just went on to do my own stuff on my own PPC. I use all of the strategies that RJ is giving us, all of the resources. The only thing is I don't pay crazy amount of money for my leads, because once I began doing my PPC, I noticed like shoot, I could be getting 200, $300, 300 leads a month instead of buying. Like imagine that your $1,000 can buy you, let's say a number, 120 leads. Let's say you convert 10% in 3 months. Just save half of the money that you will spend in other lead companies. I'm not a native English speaker. I'm here wholesaling, trying to wholesale from Nicaragua. There's so many odds, and there's a lot of competition out there. People with more experience. I was like, no, I need to be smarter, and that's when I was like, no, I'm gonna do my own PPC. If you have a module, put the leads on the module, call them. If you can text them, text them. If you can switch from Moyo to something more robust for texting to, let's say you buy 100 leads from me, you need to call and text these leads. If you're only calling these leads, you're slipping on those leads, because there's people that they will not pick up, but they will respond to the text. And that's
That's
how I
right.
convert most of my leads and my deals, because I have ongoing campaigns for the next 300 days. Like, I don't have to worry about who's calling or texting that lead, because I am calling and texting that lead, and consistency makes the difference. That's what I will tell you. I would suggest that, the conversion rate is higher, because it's not the same to call and text 100 leads than calling and texting 10,000 leads. I would just do, let's say, for a package of 100 leads or 200 leads, we need like 10, 15 counties. That way you have enough flow of
Mm,
leads. Those can be from Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Michigan, wherever you want
Uh,
to go.
that 100 leads is enough for 1 week, um, or 1 month. It depends, right?
If you're starting, I will work them for a month, and then as you grow your like, I always say this: stick to your budget monthly, and do it for at least the next 3 4 months. That way you can maximize your conversion, because there will be leads that you're gonna be closing from the last 2 months. You gotta have clear expectations with these leads. You're gonna have window shoppers. You're gonna have people that is gonna say not interested. But we do replace anything that is wrong number. Like, no, that's not my house. We do replace anything that is listed already. Anything that is listed and says no, uh, it says listed. It just listed before we submitted the lead. We remove any manufacturer homes, because I know to wholesale that's not the best, and any recent sold. Those are the leads that we're gonna replace, right? Then if they say not interested, that's part of the game. You're getting enough volume. You're gonna have people that is gonna be like not interested. You're gonna get people that is gonna be like, not right now, coming next summer. But the idea is that with the volume you're gonna have, it's gonna be more affordable than calling and texting mass people, and then it's gonna be easier for you to stay on top of your leads. You gotta have the mindset. You just need one assignment fee of $10,000. Let's say you invest $3,000 in the next 3 months. You just need one lead out of 300 leads to close. I mean, you're not gonna tell me you're not gonna get one contract, bro. Like, from 300 leads, that's impossible. So you just need to stay consistent. You need a system, and you need to stick to the system too, because if you work one day and another day you don't work, that is not gonna work. And not always you're gonna have people interested. Like, sometimes people don't pick up, and you just gotta make enough phone calls every day, put in the reps. Even if they come from websites, they will say, oh, no, I'm not selling, stop calling me. It's okay. That's why you have enough volume. And that's why I do it so cheap, because when I was beginning in the business, I didn't have a lot of money. And for me, it was like a lot of money, $400, $300. But if you're paying $10 to lead, you just need to keep on going and be like, okay, no problem. I may not be your buyer right now, but if anything changes, call me back. And then you're gonna have conversion rate, because most of my deals come from my PPC. Then you just need to qualify them, if the offer makes sense or not. You know how it is. You just need one contract in the first 3 months to change your life. That's all you need. You ask me, Ellie, what made you successful? I tell you that 100%, because I'm not a native English speaker. I'm not RJ based for sure, I can tell you that. I'm not the bravest person out there. This is the script that RJ does. Okay, I watched, you don't even imagine, before I joined his mentorship, I watched the whole YouTube channel for free. And I was pausing, okay, he said this. I write it down. And I just study, and I was like, okay, you need to absorb this. Not everybody learns the same way. Sometimes you just need a specific, particular type of mentor. And the guy it just made sense. Probably was God timing, me taking more action, me being in the right mindset. But I tell you, just take action. I'm 29 years old. Why I just realized this? Sometimes I feel crappy. Like, sometimes I feel like I don't want to work today. But I sit down and make my calls, and boom, I get a very good conversation. I'm like, interesting. So if you push through, you will have the consistency. Because if you're someone that, oh man, everybody's hanging up, nobody wants to talk to me really. Yeah, that's part of the game. Like, I'm not gonna say the name. People will yell at you, because guess what? You are not Aladino to give them what they want always, and sometimes it will not make sense, and sometimes you had to say, I need it at this much, and sometimes people will feel offended because that was their parents' house, and now you come in with a freaking 100,000 less in the offer. People will yell at you. What I say is, I respect your feelings. However, me as a buyer, I cannot lie to you. This is not gonna work. And then what I do is I will point you in the right direction, and probably you better off listening. And that's gonna happen. Sometimes I had a long day, and the one seller that wants to sell in the moment is asking market value, and I just tell them, look, I'm gonna embrace no, like RJ says, I'm gonna embrace no here, and I'm gonna tell you that I'm not your buyer, but I can connect you with someone who can actually help you. You are not in a rush. That's why you gotta frame your sellers. You are not in a rush. Your price is market value. A buyer like me, we at least looking to break even in the next 10 years. That's a line I use myself. I just came up with a probably you need someone who's gonna live in the house, and I just don't buy with them, and I just tell them I rather to introduce you to someone who's gonna help you instead of me trying to bid you down on price. And sometimes, when I do that pushback, sometimes they come back like, but tell me how much you will offer, and I'm like, okay, I will need to be around 150 to be honest. And sometimes they like it, sometimes they're like, oh, I need a little bit more. And sometimes, like, when people is motivated, they will chase you. I just use everything I've learned from RJ, from Brent Daniels. When you began on insurance, in the insurance company, was that easy?
Oh, no, no, no.
It was
It's that
difficult.
easy. Yeah.
I know insurance is difficult because when I was 15 years old, I went to apply here in my country, Nicaragua, to. Do you mind if I use this video for my channel? You
Yeah,
asked
yeah, I
some
don't
really
care.
good
Yeah.
questions, and I believe this can enlighten people. But when I turned 15 years old, I worked since I'm a little girl. I tell you that. I used to work with my mom. We used to sell CDs, and then when I turned 15 years old, I knew some English. Like, I'm talking about maybe 50 words. But I was relentless, and I'm like, mommy, I'm gonna go find a job. I'm gonna help you. And that was my drive up to
Mm.
today. My family, the love that I have for others too, for the community. I wanna do so many things for people, and I really hope I'm gonna be able to live enough to do it. But long story short, I went to ask for a job, and because of my English, they were like, okay, I have a campaign for an insurance company. It's in Spanish. Oh man, that was awful. I used to sell in person. So
Oh, yes,
for
right.
me to sell in person was so easy, but over the phone it was very difficult. I hated it. I was like, I didn't quit because I'm not a quitter, but I'm pretty sure the company asked for me to be
Like,
yeah, it's not easy. And I tell you
it's not.
something,
It's not. That's right.
insurance is not easy. People look at insurance like, oh, you do insurance. That's hardcore sell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
hardcore sales.
because imagine this, you're trying to sell something that is not tangible, right? Like
Yeah.
they have to die in order to get that life insurance. So yeah, but you get used to it, and people need it. A
And
lot
you're
of people need
doing
it.
life insurance, house insurance. What type of insurance you do?
Yeah, I do a lot of senior insurance, like burial, cremation insurance. That's my niche. But I do a little bit of the mortgage, the investment insurance, retirement, a little bit of that.
Hey, so you know a lot of realtors.
Yes, actually, a few. Since I used to be in Virginia, but I just moved into Florida like a couple of months ago.
Hmm.
But yeah,
And realtors are great resources for referrals. You just need to speak up to them, to draw a contract, put a contract in place. You can refer business to them. There are some realtors that also buy houses, so you just need to connect with them and have meaningful conversations. You may have already a few buyers in your pipeline and you don't know. because you need to call them and say, hey, I'm wholesaling too. Do you buy houses too? Are you interested? Yeah. What type of houses you like? Okay, I want to make sure, like, be proactive. Like, before you go out to the world, make sure that you look at your cell phone and you're like, who do I know in these markets? How can I connect with them? And realtors are amazing to go look at properties, are good at, you can tell them, like, help me close this deal, walk them through the wholesale contract, or get them under contract yourself with like, you just gotta be like, get creative. Real estate is about knowing people, being creative, and trying your best to deliver value, because that's gonna make you stand out. Like, you have the relentless personality doing insurance. It's not easy, I know it, I can tell you. Real estate is easier because, let's say you're calling sellers, out of 100 sellers, 10 want to sell right away. So you just need to go through the notes and don't have touchy feelings. Like, don't be fresh. It's just like, okay, it's part of the game. You already know. Some people will like it, some other people not. And that's it, pretty much. Consistency. And I know that's what everybody says, but and that's what I thought when I was trying at the beginning. It's like, shoot, everybody's saying stay consistent, but do you
But
like to
that's
read
true,
it?
right?
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
if you do it every day and you take it per day, like like your habits, the mindset that you have, like, every day I'm gonna call, like, the best hours to call are late afternoons. Let's say you say I'm gonna call every day from 4 to 7, or from 5 to 8 p.m., whatever works for you, but you know you're gonna do it. That's why it's important to have a more niche market and more niche targets, because it's easier for you to call 300 leads a month and probably touch them several times during that month than doing 10,000 records. Like, it's just
That's right.
math. It's
That's
just
right.
math. It's not that it's special. These leads are not special. My PPC leads are not special. I call them. I show you, like, sometimes I gotta call them 20 times, 50 times, and I have a team. So they good because they cheap leads. You don't break the bank, but at the same time, you gotta put effort and have a
That's right.
system in
That's right.
place.